Aquanight's Olivia Corrin. All-Stars Alex Pampalone. She's in lane 5. Caitlin Deans of Marcos is in 4. Up we go to Hayley McIntosh in 3 from Harlequins. Amy Daniels, Aquanites, and Alicia Mitchell, All-Stars, way at the top of the screen there now in lane 1. The first turn, though, goes through in lane 6. Was that Olivia Corrin?
Yes, it is. Olivia Corrin wearing the Joker's cap too. She's the 15-year-old from the Aquanites. Swims out at Gisborne. Gary Martin and his son are involved in the coaching of Olivia, doing a really good job with her too. She's a real class act.
Now, this could be a swim that really drags the Aquanites very close to the Harlequins on points. Now, who is their other swimmer here? It's Amy Daniels in lane 2.
So 103 through the first 100 metres for Corrin. It's interesting too, John. This is an open event, isn't it? It's any age group swimming the 400 metres freestyle. It's not split into the 15 and unders and the 16 and overs. It's open, and we only get the one event. So we've got a mixture of ages from 15 right through to 18. Probably more senior you get, the less likelihood of wanting to swim the distance event. You're probably a bit smarter. I don't have to do all this training anymore.
Just recapping as we look at them now out in front. Olivia Corrin of Aquanites. We move 1, 2, 3 lanes across from her. We'll find it's Amy Daniels, is it, in lane 2? No, it's Hayley McIntosh in 3. Looking good. Coming up, in fact, that's a nice 50 from her.
Well, McIntosh has swum really well in that 800 metres freestyle earlier in the program. Corrin just needs to work on those turns. It's a 400 metres freestyle. It's 8 lengths, but you've got 7 turns. And again, you've got to work those turns.
Just breathing bilaterally here. You can see you talked about the breathing techniques, and she was just keeping an eye open. Look, that's both sides she's working. And she's well aware, of course, that McIntosh and what she's capable of.
Yeah, McIntosh, interestingly, over in lane number 3 is just breathing to the one side, to her right only. So the moment she turns, and they're going to turn neck and neck, she's going to be looking straight across at Corrin. So this is 250 metres just completed. So when they come up to the wall this time, they'll have 100 metres still to swim. Now, as we said, the Joker has won the gold on every occasion bar one. And this is a real race. Gosh, this is going to be interesting between McIntosh, remembering she swam the 800 metres, and Olivia Corrin from Aquanites. It looks as if it is McIntosh that is now going to take over the lead.
I think maybe her turns are slightly more polished. Mark, she comes off the wall, seems to just have a slight gain off the wall. But Corrin is swimming well.
Yeah, she is swimming well. She just needs to work on those turns. It was a very flat turn. She was hitting turbulence on the surface of the water rather than getting underneath the turbulence. Because you don't want to hold your breath too long. You do want to, but you also want to get under the turbulence that you've created as you've gone into the wall, as well as come out of it strongly as well. Because you can gain speed off the turns. A lot easier to gain speed off the turn than what it is to try and pick it up in the swim itself.
Harlequin still leading. Hayley McIntosh in second place. Olivia Corrin, Aquanites. 26 points for first, 21 points for second, then 17, 12, 10 for fifth, then 8, 6, and 4.
So this is now McIntosh. She's gone into the 6-beat kick. I mean, she was a 2-beat, 4-beat kicker earlier on, but McIntosh has come from behind and is going to take out the victory.
Very good swim by McIntosh. A second really good swim from Hayley McIntosh. She defeats the swimmer with the Joker's cap. And so for the Aquanites, Olivia Corrin will get 42 points, double what she would have got if she'd just swum second without the cap. So a good swim from her, still valuable points. But Harlequins win it, Marcos third. And in fourth place with Marcos as well. I think they got third and fourth. So a good race for them as well. Third and fourth combined is worth 29 points. So there we are, yes, 29 points for Marcos, which is in fact more than the Harlequins got for their win, but the Harlequins also pick up a 6 for their 7th position. There we see good close-up foot drive from Corrin.
Yeah, of course, what we're watching there is making sure that those toes don't move at all. You want to wrap those toes around the front of the block and then get maximum push from the blocks. Oh, Corrin just floated in again, because she was already in second. So, you know, but again, it's talking about finesse. You want to make sure you always discipline yourself to finish in a correct position on your side, whereas she was very flat in the water, a lot of resistance.
It's Thomas Watkins we're looking at from All Stars. He starts in lane 2. Up at the top of the screen in lane 1, Henry Rollinson from Marco's, 14 years of age. Watkins is 15 from All Stars. And next to them is the 16-year-old Zach Reed, impressive tonight from Aquanites. Ewan Jackson, now he's out already in lane 4 from Harlequins. Sam McKenzie of Marco's is in 5. Liam Albury of All Stars. Daniel Hardy of Aquanites. And Harlequins Flynn Oberdries is down here in lane 8 and will touch in 8th position off the wall now.
So Ewan Jackson second at the national trials last year in the 200 metres freestyle, being part of a relay team. And it really was a surprise package about 3 years ago, and made the world's relay team. But swims out of the Howick Pakuranga Club. You see a lot of catch-up in the front part of his stroke. Now, you can only do that sort of catch-up if you have a strong kick at the back end of your engine. So we're going through the first 100 metres in a 57. And we can see that now as we have a look, the underwater of the rest of the swimmers going through their turns. But as we come back into Jackson, you'll see that he's a very strong kicker. And as a result of it, he can do a degree of catch-up in the front part of his stroke.
Just want to explain catch-up for non-swimmers.
Yeah, so what that means is that in particular here, he breathes just to his left-hand side. So he leaves his left arm a lot more out in front and longer than what most swimmers would. Most swimmers tend to work on opposite nature of their hands. So if you sorry, his right hand. So if you see his right hand, it just goes into the water and stays there out in front as he breathes to his left. And that's the catch-up. So his left arm is catching up to his right arm. Now, as he gets further into this race, it's a little less pronounced, but it's still very strong. So there's the right arm still out in front. Good turn from him. He'll kick off the wall. Bit of a dolphin kick and then back into that 6-beat kick. Gosh, it's a good advantage.
Oh, isn't it? That's very impressive. We go back to who's in second and third. We're going to lose sight of them after a while.
But, you know, John, these swimmers like Ewan Jackson, it's all about getting ready for the Olympic trials if he wants to go up to Rio de Janeiro for the Olympics. So he comes into this event. Do you just protect yourself? Do you swim soft? You know, he knows that he's going to win this 400 metres freestyle. Or do you go and, hey, I'm going to actually swim this really hard. I know I've swum some other events and I've done it really well, but I'm going to still push myself through this 400. But what a good race it's going to be for second and third.
Yep, Liam Albury of All Stars in second, Sam McKenzie of Marco's in third, as we watch that style of Ewan Jackson, which we hope to see plenty of in the Nationals, and the which double as the Olympic trials this year with the Olympic Games in Rio. Looking for a very strong swim team, spearheaded, of course, by Lauren Boyle. There's Albury turning in second place, McKenzie in third, and Zach Reed.
It's going to be interesting as McKenzie just playing tricky here. You know, he seems to be tucked in. He's letting Albury do a lot of work. He seems to be pretty relaxed. There's not a lot of leg drive off him, but he looks as if he's just being a bit of a mouse there, watching from behind.
Just watch those two come into the wall in a moment as Jackson's away. Here they come too now. That was Albury we could see, and alongside of him McKenzie. It'll be interesting to see what happens over the final 50, whether in fact McKenzie is just foxing a wee bit as they both get into their big kicks, and you can see McKenzie really wind it up. But way down the front, it's Ewan Jackson, and all the way victory for Harlequins in this 400 metres freestyle.
But what a race for second. It is McKenzie now. He was foxing. This is very much cat and mouse type racing, but it is McKenzie now Oh, he went early. Here comes Aubrey again. Mackenzie, Aubrey.
Yes, indeed. It was Mackenzie. I think he gets that second touch. And in third place, Liam Albury. So it was interesting that you picked that up, Mark, about them when they're heading down with about 150 to go. The fact that they were so close. And Mackenzie, we know he's a good swimmer, good freestyle swimmer, distance swimmer. And
he's only young,
just
too.
no kick, eh?
Yeah,
he's
young.
just hanging along there.
Only 16 years of age.
Yeah.
Really good foxing race.
So Ewan Jackson, not all the way win for his Harlequins team. They get first and 8th in this race. So there's the senior team points at the moment, 672 for Harlequins. I mentioned it was getting close for the other battles. You could see there 534 for Marcos now. It doesn't include the last races, of course. All Stars 49, 499, and Aquanites 471. So that can change, but Harlequins really in charge there. And also Harlequins leading the juniors, but still close, particularly that battle for 3rd and 4th, All Stars and Marcos. Still a few races to go. And with the Joker to be played and top swimmers to come forward from their zones, those points positions could change.
And the all-important very last relay as well.
Oh, yeah, of course.
All in relay.
Everyone swims. $100 butterfly, women under 15. Lane 1, Swain of Harlequins, Maclay, Marcos, and 2, Sims All-Stars. Sue Chun of Aquanites in 4, Victoria McTeague of Harlequins in 5, Kyra Forrest, Marcos in 6, England of All-Stars in 7, and Steedman Aquanites in 8. 100 fly. This is the juniors, the under 15s. Centre of the pool and way up at the top as well, but centre of the pool is doing it at the moment. That's in lane 5, Victoria McTeague and Grace Sue Chun of Aquanites.
Yeah, Kyra Forrest has had a very busy program and looking very strong in this 100 metres butterfly. Currently in 2nd position, if not 3rd now, but it is at the top of the pool going in lane number 1. Kiana Swain from the Harlequins also having a very good meet.
But now we see the effort coming in from Kyra Forrest of Marcos. A clear advantage over the rest. Kyra Forrest, Marcos. Almost a body length clear. Oh, big challenge up at the top. She was finishing quickly. That was Kiana Swain of Harlequins. But it is first for Marcos in this. They'll be happy with that. Marcos also finishing in, what, 7th place. So Kyra Forrest wins it for Marcos. Harlequins, Swain and McTeague get 2nd and 3rd. That will boost their points in the junior championship. Aquanites 4th and 5th. So 22 points for them.
Yeah, Marcos will be really happy with that victory too, because in terms of the senior ranks, they're going very well. I think it was 2nd position, but in terms of the juniors, they were back down to 4th. So those points would have boosted them significantly.
Well, particularly, they're only 2 points behind All-Stars, and All-Stars in that race finished, I think, in 2 of the bottom 3 places.
Yeah, correct.
We're up now for the women's under 15. That's the women's 16 and over. Elena Forlong in 1 up at the top from All Stars. Caitlin Tippett, Aquanites. Helena Gasson in 3 from Harlequins. Emily Rennell, Marcos. Maggie Burns, All Stars. Uber Hand, Aquanites. Yonsu Lee of Harlequins. And in 8 Olivia Gold, Marcos. And you see there that white cap. That will be Helena Gasson out in front. First 25 gone, and she has too.
Yes, she has gone. She is the form butterflyer in New Zealand swimming at the moment. Unfortunately, just hasn't broken into the international ranks yet. But that's what she'll be training for. Good turn on, a good underwater work.
And 3rd place too for Harlequins and Yonsu Lee. holding it well over the 100th fly. Helena Gasson all together down at the bottom here. Yonsu Lee of Harlequins also. She's in second place. In the centre of the pool there, Emily Rennell of Marcos. But it could be a Harlequins 1 and 2 again. It is 1-2 Harlequins. Marcos in third. And also fourth with Olivia Gold coming home in fourth place. So women's 16 and over 100 fly.
Good points for the Harlequins.
And Marco's getting 29 for their third and fourth. All-Stars 18 for their fifth and sixth.
You don't see a board like that very often, do you?
No. No. I don't think we've seen it tonight like that.
Interesting, Gasson as a 200 butterflyer, probably saw her breathing every stroke right through almost the whole of the last 50 metres. There she is, up and down, up and down. You have to be very strong. Just held the head down in the last couple of strokes into the wall, which is something that we always coach into the swimmers. But not everybody can do that. In fact, a lot of swimmers that breathe every stroke lose form altogether.
We do have the Joker's cap. We haven't seen it for a while. It stands in lane 4. This is the fly. Xavier Hill. But just James Raymond, Aquanites. Shibuya in 2, Harford in 3, Hill in 4, All-Stars. Aquanites, Hadley Dwyer, Harlequins, Jordan Wilson, Ben Smith of Marcos. Down here to the right, it's Atakura Julian from All-Stars. The Joker's cap is on.
Well, Jordan Wilson won the 200 metres butterfly, and he's going for it over the first 50 metres. He's going to turn first. Now, remember, he won the 200 metres butterfly in the 15 and under and did a really good job. He talked about his technique, talked about his flexibility and the long limbs. So what we've seen is they've played the Joker in lane number 4. That's Xavier Hill from All-Stars. But it looks as if he's going to be beaten by the winner of the 200 metres butterfly, Jordan Wilson. And so he's going to take out the double, the 100 and the 200.
Yeah, Jordan Wilson's going to come to the wall, and it's Xavier Hill who is wearing the Joker's cap, and he gets second, and as a big roar goes up from those Harlequins fans because they know that that's an important victory for Jordan Wilson, and also a bit of a punch to All-Stars who played the Joker's cap with Xavier Hill. He gets second, so he gets 42 points out of that. All-Stars also finishing in 5th place, so 52 in total. But Harlequins first and fourth, they'll be extending that lead.
Yeah, but John, you talked about 52 in total when you were hoping that you were going to win with the Joker, and that was 52 straight up for your win. Yeah. And then you add the seconds on.
So that's why the Harlequins were yelling. They knew there'd been a bit of a punch thrown at this team here, the All-Stars, who did play the Joker. But this man thwarted their hopes. And Jordan Wilson takes it. A little bit of emotion.
Well, sometimes when you're behind, you've got to throw your hand, don't you?
Standing there in lane 2 is Chris Smithers. In lane 2, he's from All-Stars, black cap. To his right will be Marco's Jordan Rahu. Bradley Ashby's in 3 from Aquanites. We saw Polyansky in lane 4. Tasker of Marco's. Turner All-Stars. Vujkovic Aquanites. And down in lane 8, Couture Harlequins. This is the over 16 men's 100 butterfly.
Well, pick the winner, John. This should be a good race. Ashby won the 200 individual medley and the 400 individual medley.
But not far behind were the likes of Polyansky and Couture. Both have raced well, haven't they? And Couture's looking good down in lane number 8 as they turn. But it looks like he's in a line with the others out there. Ashby just leading ahead of Polyansky and Tarski. Couture maybe making this his own.
Yeah, he's out in front. Ashby, you know, he's probably fatigued still from that 400 individual medley that he swam just 200 individual medley just recently. Of course, he's just tying up a little bit in lane number 8, but I think he's done enough to take out the gold.
And maybe the swimmers in the middle will look across and wonder, oh, I didn't get first. What happened? It was Kutsia out in lane 8. In lane 8, it's Kutsia. He wins it for Harlequins. Polyansky was second, so it's 1-2 for Harlequins. Ashby in third and Tasker of Marcos in fourth place. Another fantastic points for Harlequins, 1 and 2.
Yeah, interesting. In swimming, you don't normally see the victories going into lane 8, but in an event like this where you're swimming for a team, you know, the lanes are just randomly given out. And so that happens, and swimmers aren't used to that. They're not used to seeing swimmers from the outside lanes, what we call the outside smokers, coming in and winning the gold.
Always remember when we saw him earlier today, Moss Burmester, swimming in that 200 fly final in Beijing, way up on the side, and
yeah,
you
totally
sort of sensed in the middle that swimmers could see, where's that guy coming from? And
I think every time he probably looks back at that tape, all he feels is a piano. Because gee, he went for it though. He was ahead of the world record holder.
Yep.
Unless that last 50, the piano came. But let's give credit where credit's due. Where did he finish? Fourth.
Fourth, yeah.
Fourth, fantastic effort.
Well, we've had half a dozen Olympic medalists in New Zealand, and I think 3 swimmers who finished fourth.
Yep.
3, maybe fourth swimmers who finished fourth in a final. So it's a huge performance from him.
He certainly put everything out there.
Yeah, he wasn't going to retire wondering what went on. So, and good to see Moss Burmester and other retired swimmers here for the Legends Relay earlier in the meet. This is live swimming, the Zonal Championships, supported by the Brian Perry Charitable Trust and being held at the new Sir Owen Glenn National Aquatic Centre. It's a women's under 15 200 breaststroke. Chelsea Parker of All Stars in 1, Ella Jameson of Aquanites, then Connor Tarrant of Harlequins. In the middle lane, in lane 4, Kaylee Jackson, Marcos. Shannon Szymanski, All Stars. Gina McCarthy, Aquanites. Down here we go to Eve Thomas and Leah Berquist. Thomas from Harlequins, Berquist from Marcos.
Yeah, just have a look how much of a glide Jackson has. So you can only get that sort of a glide and streamline in the body if you have a very good kick. She's got a bit of a whip kick. You can see the hips just coming up and down a little bit every time she kicks. She's getting maximum power out of those legs, just conserving it out in front, getting the streamline that she requires. She's going to take us through the first 100 meters with a time of 1 minute 19.
But there are others hovering. Up in lane 1, Chelsea Parker. Down in lane 5, Shannon Szymanski. Gina McCarthy in 6. All within striking distance of Kaylee Jackson, who's led through the first 125.
Yeah, and if you have a look at the stroke rates, how many strokes they do per length, there's a significant difference between the likes of Kaylee Jackson and Gina McCarthy, who's currently in second position from the Aquanites. She's only 13 years of age in lane number 6 in second position, but it is Jackson, that big, long, streamlined glide. Lane number 6, Gina McCarthy can certainly increase the stroke rate, and you probably can be able to increase your pace if you can increase your stroke rate. Now, Jackson will probably try and do that over the last 25, 30 meters or so, because all the time McCarthy, the 13-year-old, is coming back at her.
Different styles altogether. You see really that Jackson comes higher out of the water with the body. McCarthy not quite so much, but it's what happens underneath as well. And it is now Jackson who's winding it up a little bit, senses perhaps that she needs to put some effort in towards the end. She's done plenty over the first 150, touches now after 200, wins it comfortably as it ends up, but Gina McCarthy from Aquanites in second place. So we're seeing some good form from youngsters, all 13-year-old Gina McCarthy, but 14 and 15-year-olds. The winner, Kaylee Jackson of Southern Marcos, and this junior competition continues to be very, very close. Marcos first and 7th. Aquanites second and where were they? 8th. So Harlequins All-Stars getting the pair in the middle, 4th and 5th. Next up will be the 16 and over. As we watch some of those little highlights from the under 15, and it's great to have Mark Bone, a who was a New Zealand coach, of course, is well known as a coach and analyst and commentator, to pick out those little things, because there are lots of young breaststrokers around the country who are coached extremely well. Might just pick up a tip or two while watching this live action on Sky. And over. Helena Gasson is in lane 5. Down here we can see Ruby Matthews of Aquatic, so we'll go up through the field. Nikki Chapman, All-Stars, Caitlin Delaney from Marcos. Helena Gasson is in 5 and getting up very quickly indeed, but Kendall Reedy is Aquatic, and Bronna Ryan is also there in lane 3. You can see her in the black cap just in front. Devon Hamilton of Marcos, and up at the top it's Mary Tate of Harlequins. Remember, Harlequin swimmers from the top of the North Island in that zone are wearing the white caps. Marcos from the South Island have the grey or silver caps on here. All-Stars from the lower North Island have black, and the teal coloured caps belong to Aquanites in the Waikato, Taranaki, Bay of Plenty, Hawke's Bay regions.
Interesting event this, the women's 200 metres breaststroke. We've got a 24-year-old from the Aquanites in lane number 4, Kendall Reedy. I believe she's a policewoman. Bet you there's no playing up on that team while they've been together. But isn't it great to still see her competing here?
There'll be a whole lot of police people out there saying, "What do you mean, Judy?" That stumped him, ladies and gentlemen. He's just put his microphone down and rethinking what he just said. Harlequins leading, and second too, I think, mate.
Yeah, so Helena Gasson. So notice the good butterfly kick under the water that they'll all go with nowadays. So they get that butterfly kick, then they do the breaststroke pull out. Some of them will do the pull out and then the butterfly kick.
Now going into this race, Harlequins had a good lead, almost 200-point lead over the Marcos, but All-Stars and Aquanites only a matter of 35 points separating them. So they're getting into that stage where maybe the Harlequins are getting too far away, but gosh, there's still jokers to be played and there's still lots of races to go.
Well, Harlequins still are first and second in this 200 metres breaststroke, John, so they're going to go to more points ahead.
Not so clear-cut in the juniors, though. They might just keep you guessing over that.
Mary Tate doing a great job over in lane number 1. Can she hold this together? Because it's a very, very fast finishing in lane number 6. Caitlin Delaney from the Southern Marcos.
So about 15 metres. We come to the wall, the 200 metres breaststroke. First and second for the Harlequins team. And they touch now, the two of them. That was Helena Gasson and Mary Tate. And then in third place, Marcos, Caitlin Delaney. Ruby Matthews from Aquanites finishing in fourth place in lane 8. 1 and 2 for Harlequins again in this 2016 Zonal Championship. Really good breaststroke races so far. Women's under 15 and over 16. Next up we will have the men's under 15 and over 16 as well. 200 breaststroke. So for each race, points are allocated to the various teams. So Harlequins get maximum points out of this, with a 26 for first and a 21 for second, so 47 points for them. So very impressive points haul out of the women's. And there's the senior points. Harlequins 818. Yes, as I mentioned, almost 200 points clear of Marcos, but that's still a good battle for second, third and fourth, with plenty of races to come. The junior teams a lot closer there. Aquanites second behind Harlequins. All-Stars and Marcos only 4 points separating them. And under. Flynn Sinclair of Marcos up in lane 1 and 2. Shavendra Somawira, All-Stars. Josh Gilbert of Aquanites is in 3. Look at Somawira of All-Stars. Harlequins Bailey Wang in 4. Ku Kitahara is in 5 from Marcos. Richard Sass of All-Stars in 6. Johnson Bishop, Aquanites in 7. And the white cap down here, you can see just to the left, it's Thomas Hewson of Harlequins. So the men's under 15 200 breaststroke.
Gosh, what a fantastic start by Josh Gilbert. His reactions were fantastic. Just really electric off the block, and already out in front. You can see there in the greenish cap.
2 Harlequins caps though now appearing, and maybe down here it's Thomas Hewson. Harlequins in lanes 8 and 4. So Hewson turns ahead of Bailey Wang and Gilbert of Aquanites in 3rd place. The under 15 men's 200 breaststroke. We think about Glenn Snyders as soon as we think about breaststroke in New Zealand, don't we? And he's domiciled in the States for the last 3 years.
Yep, 3 years.
And still loving it.
Engaged now too to an American, and just thoroughly enjoying his training, and he's just such a different person, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we come to the nationals, the Olympic trials too, Mark, there'll be a lot of those overseas competitors coming back here.
Oh, totally. And we see the likes of Lauren Boyle back here and competing, and you know what a delight that'll be. She is just one huge competitive swimmer, and she's never satisfied unless she does a personal best, and she won't be satisfied at the Olympic trials unless she does a personal best. And you look at personal best, they were medals at the World Championships, and that's where she compares herself all the time.
And it rubs off so much from youngsters coming through. They can sense that, you know, we've often talked over the years when we've had longer distance swims to talk about that. In days gone by, a lot of athletes, and not just swimmers, but we'll talk swimmers, we're happy to have made the team. But these days, the likes of Boyle and others, Loader, of course, and Mostert, Burmester, we were talking about, settle for nothing less than their absolute best when they get away. Back to this race, though, the 200 breaststroke. And we've got a very good battle out in the middle, still between Gilbert, who started so strongly and then slipped away, Wang and also Hewson down here in lane 8. It's going to be tight, but look, this has been a fantastic comeback from Gilbert. Can he hold off? Nice strong finish. He does. Touches, and Aquanites win it. Harlequins 2nd and 3rd through Hewson and Wang.
Yeah, that was a really nice last 50 metres. You know, it was almost from the moment he dived in, he was an extremely fast reaction, but from the moment he dived in, he looked as if he had that race won, and he was just swimming tactics, and he came back so strongly over the last 50. Turned in 3rd position with 50 still to go. And it's hard to suddenly change your stroke rate in breaststroke because it's such a field stroke.
That was the start, and that was the advantage that Mark spoke about that Josh Gilbert had. But at the end, he was behind. In the last turn, I think he was still behind both the Harlequin swimmers.
Yep,
but
he was in 3rd.
He did pick it up nicely. Good strong finish from him. Men's 16 and over now, same event. Jack Weston, Aquanites in 1, Kern Smith, Harlequins in 2, George Schroeder, Marcos in 3, Ben Walsh, All-Stars, Elliot London Moore, Aquanites, Jacob Garrett, Harlequins. The jokers being played, Matthew Phillips, Marcos, and Hamish Trillin of All-Stars in lane 8. Schroeder of Marcos with the joker cap.
Yeah, Southern Marcos. I mean, where else could you get a beard like that other than down in the South Island? I'd be proud of it down there.
Well, he started off strongly, but gosh, this is a competitive race. With Schroeder, and alongside of him, Ben Walsh of All-Stars. And down here, we can see Jacob Garrett of Harlequins. Hamish Trillin's also worn the joker's cap. That was early in the meet. He's in lane 8. Up at the top there, Kern Smith of Harlequins too. He turns well, but just behind Schroeder. Schroeder leads. Good turn from him.
Yeah, it was a good turn. I don't think Jacob Garrett in lane number 6 will give anything away either. He'll be tough right to the end, but Schroeder looks very, very strong. Garrett with a nice form, nice technique. Just look at the good long glide in the white cap from the Harlequins team. Is 19 years of age versus Schroeder, who's 20.
Schroeder, always alongside his name, is Aquatic. Turns and in front by 0.39 of a second from Harlequins' Jacob Garrett. Ben Walsh, I think, is turned in third. A wee way back following him is Elliot London Moore of Aquanites.
John, the technique of the men versus the technique of the women, it is totally different. And it's all about the strength that the men have in the upper body. Women tend to have more flexibility in the hip flexors, more flexibility in the ankles. So the dynamics of the stroke change. But you can see that in the upper body work that we see out here. And leading the race in lane number 3 is George Schroeder. And also in second position, Jacob Garrett. Very strong through the upper body, and you see the drive up and forward in one action. So it is a slightly different stroke to what you'll see in the females.
Well, Schroeder had extended his lead to just over a second, 1.23 off that turn, but this is where it all counts.
It's interesting, John, just while I talk about the technique, breaststroke requires more muscle mass than any other stroke and uses more muscle mass. It shocks a lot of people when you say that.
Marcos are 1.58 the difference, so well played, Marcos, getting the maximum points there and not adding to it much, though, as we see their second swimmer coming through. That was Matthew Phillips in 7th place, but well swum George Schroeder and also Jacob Garrett. A good race in the men's 200 breaststroke. More points for the Marcos. They win this race with 26. And there we see Kern Smith coming home in 8th place.
Comes up quite high, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But you can also see comes up quite high, but then leans down forward onto a good angle.
Still not as much as Snyder's does with that.
Well, Snyder's is a little
arch,
bit,
isn't it?
Yeah, Snyder's is a different breaststroke altogether.
Yeah.
He doesn't use a lot of elevation. He's a very flat type breaststroker, something that we saw probably 15 years ago, and he still, utilizes that type of technique. But it's if you look at technique in breaststroke, there's more variety across the field than any other stroke.
Now, some of the swimmers have finished. Thomas Unsorg just checking details. He'll be looking to make sure that his team has got maximum points.
They haven't finished because they've all got the relay at the end.
Of course they do. Yeah, that all-in relay. That's great. You'll love that. If you've just joined us, we've had 3 hours of non-stop swimming here, and we've got the final event to come, which is the all-in relay, in which everybody swims.
So if you're a straight-out, breaststroker, you hate doing a 50 freestyle.
Yeah.
Absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
It's all right for the butterflies. They don't mind turning into a 50 freestyle.
Yep. 100 backstroke now. Maggie Frank standing here in the green. Paris Cutler of All Stars next to her in 7. Kyra Forrest, Marcos. Rebecca Chain, Harlequins is in 5. Bianca Donnelly of Aquanites is in 4. Macy Burns, All Stars in 3. Emily Barron, Marcos in 2. Summer Milne, Harlequins in 1. Some of them into their work earlier than the others, and a big advantage already, as some of the starts weren't quite as effective. In the middle, there is Bianca Donnelly of Aquanites, Rebecca Chain, Harlequins as well. Kyra Forrest from Marcos, the grey cap. Down here we can see Maggie Franks, a good start from her too, from Aquanites, as they come up to the wall for the first time, the only time. And the next up, they're heading home, and a good turn out in the centre. Rebecca Chain of Harlequins, Kyra Forrest, Marcos, and down here Maggie Franks, Aquanites.
Rebecca Chain looks really good in this 100 metres backstroke. Nice rhythm. It's very symmetrical. Right beside her is Kyra Forrest, who's also had a very big meet. But Rebecca Chain, she's just sitting up a little bit now, needs to just keep lying back. But you can see there's a good turnover of those arms. She looks strong.
And she's finishing strongly too. Very good from her. Kyra Forrest Marcos will get second points. Down here, Aquanites pick up third. Up at the top, that looked like all-stars. It would have been Macy Burns, I think, getting in fourth place. So the points shared among the first four in this first 100-meter backstroke race. Using the new starting equipment here at the Owen Glen National Aquatic Centre.
It's also interesting, John, this is the first time we've used a 10-lane pool in New Zealand as well. So it's kind of a bit disconcerting, isn't it, when you have those outside lanes and you're not calling them.
I know. There's sometimes when you check, watching on the screen most of the time here, and you look and you think, oh, there's another lane. Is that the... I've missed someone here. All right. So we move on now to the 16 and over, where Jenna Buchanan starts in 1 for All-Stars. Jenna Barrett in 2 for Aquanites. Gabrielle Falmasili, Harlequins in 3. Ebony Maikuku, Marcos in 4. I don't think we've seen her tonight. Sarah O'Connor, All-Stars in 5. Bobby Gishard in 6 for Aquanites. Annabelle Patterson in 7 from Harlequins. And Sally McMath, Marcos in lane 8. Good names in this race, particularly Falmasili. We've talked a lot about her.
And also Bobby Gishard in lane number 6. These are 2 class acts of 16-year-old backstrokers. Both of them are so beautiful in terms of their body position. We'd expect Falmasili to go out a little bit stronger. She's a true sprinter. Gishard will just hang in there. She'll want to be as close as she possibly can over the first 50 metres. And in fact, it is nothing that separates them. 30.2, 30.4, and it is Gabrielle Falmasili. So what we're watching here is Falmasili, how well she finishes now. She's under the tutorage of Olympic champion, and that's
Poliansky.
Yeah, Igor Poliansky. I was sort of watching more than anything else. Gabrielle Falmasili and Bobby Gishard here, but it is Falmasili.
And she comes to the wall. She'll win this one from Gishard. But my word, these 2 young swimmers have set up some great competition amongst themselves, and that is often something that drives champions on, isn't it? Swimming alone and without any great competition is detrimental to progress. But these 2 will front up against each other a lot over the years, and in several events. Gishard and Falmasili. Gishard wins. Falmasili wins this. Gishard second. Marcos third. Harlequins fourth.
Yeah, that competition is paramount, and it is so healthy for them. They come up against each other at the national age group level and also at the open national level, because they are 2 class acts. And I was just really pleased with both of them there. They look very strong.
Falmasili, who won.
Beautiful smile too, but what was good was that she held her body position, held her form, held her technique.
Well, she's created an international stir, hasn't she, at World Juniors, and she's been extremely impressive here in her early stages of her career.
Yeah, flag bearer for the New Zealand team at the Youth Olympics.
Yep.
And
gosh, yes.
That's a huge honour.
Yeah. Oh, the points are getting interesting. Backstroke, men's under 15. Bronson Lloyd down here, the 13 years of age. There's another 13-year-old, Reyes Worley, in lane 2 from Harlequins. The rest are all 15. And the best start really looks to have been up in lane 2 from Worley of Harlequins, but also Zach Dell of Harlequins. And we've seen a bit of Zach Dell, and he looks good again.
Well, Worley also looks good in lane number 2. As you said, John, he had a tremendous start, and they're going down the first 50 metres. Nothing will separate them, but it is Dell now. Just picked up the tempo going into the wall. So important. You want to have speed in to be able to generate speed out of the turn. Dell looking very, very strong for the Harlequins team in lane number 6. Just have a look at this young man's technique.
Yes, very smooth. That head's hardly moving, is it? Worley is a New Zealand age group record 12 and under. He holds those over the 3 backstroke events. But down here in this lane 6, Zach Dell is going to touch first and does so. Harlequins 1 and 2 again. Marcos in third place.
Yeah, you have to have a look at, well, he's only 13 years of age, and he did a really good job there to get second. Let's not take anything away from Dell.
The two Harlequins swimmers, Zach Dell and Reyes Worley. Third was Hunter Wilson from Marcos. Aquanites had their two swimmers, Matthew Muley and David Bowles, finishing fourth and fifth. Two All-Star swimmers were Bronson Lloyd and Thomas Watkins. Quinton Hurley of Marcos was the other swimmer in that race. Men's 15 and under. So we go to the 16 and over for the next race. The points, the junior points, well, I can give you an update. Harlequins 771, Auckland 716. So Aqua Knights, I'm sorry, 716. So only 50 plus points the difference, 55. Marcos and All Stars even. That's in the juniors. That's changed a bit now after that race, with Harlequins getting first and second. William Campbell in 1, Marcos. Clearboat, All Stars 2. Burfield Mills, Aquanites 3. Kitsere, Harlequins. Trembath, Marcos in 5. Gunn, All Stars in 6. Jeffcoat, Aquanites in 7. Kitsere, Cornell Kitsere of Harlequins in 8. Kitsere. This Kitsere name, it seems to have appeared in lane 8 all night, hasn't it?
Well, there's two of them, so you know, they can appear all over the place, but it is Kitsere in lane number 8. Outside smoker that takes us through the first 50 metres in 27.95.
Very good. Andrew Trembath of Marcos also there. He's out in the centre of the lane. Watch fast finishing here from Willie Kitsere, who's moving up alongside Trembath. This might be a very interesting finish. Down is Jeffcoat in 7 from Aquanites, but the white caps are dominating again. In the middle of them, Trembath.
It's the younger Kitsere, and look at it, what a fantastic finish. 57.50. Gee, did he wind that up over the last 15 metres, the younger brother.
Wilrit Kitsere in lane 4, Kune Kitsere in 8 was third, and Andrew Trembath split them from Marcos.
Well, Kitsere just rolled out completely over the top of Trembath. If his older brother had been right beside him, he would have done the same there as well.
That's a good turn. Now you can see here at the turn how far back Wilrick Kitsere was, and then he wound up just before that. He wound up and went for it. That last 50 of his was pretty quick, certainly quicker than the rest.
And it was really good timing by Trembath just to sneak into second as well, because it would have been a Kitsere double for all money.
So the joker being played here by Madeline Falconer of Harlequins in lane 3. This is a 50 freestyle. So I'll just give you the... Oh, you'll be able to pick the teams. You know now it's grey caps, Marcos, white Harlequins, teal is Aquanites, and black is All Stars. A bit of a hold up there, but that's Madeline Falconer in 3. Kaylee Jackson, Marcos, will be alongside her. Chelsea Edwards in 5 from All Stars. Ruby Adset of Aquanites. You can see her hands on hips and the teal cap. Second from the left here, that's Kyla Alexander of Harlequins, and Lucy Jackson from Marcos is right here in lane 8. Up at the top, Noemi Leinfelder of All Stars in lane 1, and Lauren Pickett at Aquanites in 2. Just waiting for the all clear. Leinfelder from Masterton.
Part of the reason, sorry John, part of the reasons is there was always a bit of a delay, is you have to take the starting equipment down to the other end of the pool as well, and just make sure that you get everything set up for that. So we're suddenly starting it, because it's a 50 metres, you start at the scoreboard end. You just have to check out all of the beaters, make sure that everything's working, that it's a fair start. I mean, this is splash and dash material.
how many breaths?
Well, we're talking about 15 and under girls, so probably 5, 6.
Yeah.
But certainly if you were watching the Olympics and the men's, be 0.
Yeah.
Women's probably 1.
Hands on hips to the right, and with the pressure of wearing their Joker's cap, which would give Madeleine Falconer 52 points for her team if she was to win it. And as I mentioned, the junior competition is only 55 points between the Harlequins and the Aquanites.
Breathing doesn't help you in this race. Does not help you. It only helps you in the recovery. Breathing's good though, John.
It's helped me survive. So they're saying, people have been asking me about this pool, whether it's fast or not, and I think the general consensus is that it is. They're enjoying it. The swimmers enjoying this.
Yeah, I'd love to have seen it go 3 metres, quite honestly, and I think that if we'd done that, we would have had a truly international pool. But yeah, it's fast. 2.2 metres deep.
50 metres, the first of them, under 15 women. A lot of them into their work early, particularly in the centre, Kaylee Jackson. And now the black cap there of Chelsea Edwards in lane 5. It's Al Edwards and Falconer who's got the Joker's cap on. Falconer in lane 3. Edwards down in lane 5. Edwards and Falconer. Edwards might get it. She might just stop. Yes, she did. She stopped the Harlequins getting the big points out of this race. A very good swim from Chelsea Edwards. So she wins the under 15 50 metres freestyle. Falconer second for the Harlequins, so All Stars Harlequins, and then Aquanites, valuable points for them, 3rd and 4th.
But interestingly, John, we were talking about breathing. Falconer breathed every single stroke. Look at her there. She breathes and she breathes and she breathes, which is just costing her time. She's certainly got a really fast stroke rating. I can't believe she's breathing as much as she did.
16 and over now.
I don't think I've seen anybody breathe that regularly in a 50 metres.
Coulter's up there in 1. Olivia Gold, Rebecca Moynihan, Jenna Barrett, Farmasili in 5, Eleanor Wilding, Bronna Ryan, Moana Alpuri Kaiwai down here in 8 for Aquanites. Another splash and dash. The best start should be Farmasili in lane 5, and it is, and she's quickly into her work. Excellent 2 from Quilter up at the top in lane 1. Those are the two who have the advantage at the moment. Quilter going well at the top. The angle is quite deceptive sometimes, so has Farmasili got it or not? Farmasili and Quilter. Quilter maybe up at the top. Big race from Quilter, and she does. Harlequins and Harlequins, lanes 1 and lane 5. Laura Quilter and Gabrielle Farmasili take 1st and 2nd for the Harlequins.
But John, you've got to remember too, Farmasili just got out of that 100 metres backstroke where she took out the victory, and she's produced another really good swim. So she's in good form. She's finishing well.
And it doesn't matter. They're both from the same team.
Absolutely.
You know, that they possibly, one on the outside of the pool, one in the centre, they'd look across and think, the white cap's there, that's good. Quilter enjoyed the win, though, no doubt about it.
Yeah, 5/100ths of a second.
So going into these races, the freestyle 50, juniors, Harlequins, 8:52, Aquanites 7:71, Marco's 6:80, and All Stars 6:72. We're into this men's now. You see that Tyrone Henry goes. Remember, he started exceptionally well in his previous races, and he's away. He's got those bright pink suits on. He's wearing the white cap, and he's out in front again. A very good start again, and he's continuing his fine form. Tyrone Henry in lane 4. Harlequins going to pick up another big one here. Down in lane 7, it's Lachlan O'Connor of Aquanites, but whoosh, that's a big advantage over 50 metres.
Absolutely, with a poor finish. You know, he did an extra stroke that he didn't need to do, but he looked fantastic from the start to nearly the finish.
to nearly the finish. I suppose when you're out by that far mark and you know it, but no, you don't. You want to finish, as you often say, finishing a race at maximum ability and capacity is so important.
And we'll see this here. He just takes this extra stroke. Didn't need that last right-hand stroke. Could have leant onto his left hand. And we'll see it now. One more. He should have finished on that left hand, leaning on the side. See, that's a half stroke.
And that's a difference, isn't it, between
Absolutely.
winning and losing?
Yeah, at the big international level, my oath.
16 and over. This is the last of our individual races, is it? Yes.
And what's interesting, these sprinters have to get straight out and do a relay.
I know.
But I guarantee they'll be at the back end of the relay.
Daniel Hunter in 6. Watch out for him. Good start from him in lane 6 for Harlequins. And he's into his work strongly. Up in lane 3 too is Michael Finlay of Marcos. These two have it at the 25. They're working this field over. There's some pressure coming. Down here, though, it's Hunter still. Hunter leads now comfortably. Lanes 3, Michael Finlay, Gregory Campbell from Harlequins as well. It's Harlequins 1 and 3. Good finish for the Harlequins. The Harlequins take first and third in the final of the events, the individual events. And this man, we're going to see so much more of him. Daniel Hunter, 21 years of age. Watch for him at the Nationals. Much is expected of him. Harlequins 1 and 3. Marcos in 2nd. Aquanites 4th and 5th. Marcos 6th. All-Stars 7th and 8th. That will affect those particularly the bottom 2 placings in the senior competition. But more points to come. And we have now, it's called the 1,000 meter freestyle relay. And it has everybody in it from each of the 4 teams. And you can see them all gathering down there. So we've got there the Marcos team. Now this is everyone in there, juniors, seniors, male and female. It's up to the coaching staff as to what position they swim. You've got 13-year-olds, you've got 24-year-olds. You've got out-and-out backstrokers and breaststrokers and butterflies and freestylers. So this is the, no, we've got 2 of them, of course, yes. It's not open, it's 15 and under and 16 and over. So 2 races, my apologies. One more page in this. Hello,
as you said, John, any order, male or female. And generally, you'd start off with a male off the blocks first of all, because you don't want to have a female that's going to be swimming in turbulence from another male beside them. So the smart play is to try and get yourself out into clean water.
As we look here, yes, you're quite right. We've got male swimmers starting. We'll look down the far end soon, and I think we might have a couple of females swimming second, but we'll see what the call is. So just remember, we'll watch those caps. Harlequins in lane 3. Marcos in 4. All-Stars in 5. Aquanites in 6. Great start from Aquanites. Josh Gilbert starting brilliant. We talked about his start previously. Very good out of the blocks there. Away.